Hello, and welcome to an exciting episode of the Brain Ladle Trivia Podcast. I am your host, Green Belt Davo. This is a truly important episode. It is the start of our next 50 shows. Congrats, guys. This is episode 51.
Pats on the back.
And we have to stop Kels from attaining brown belt status.
Don't I already have a brown belt?
What?
Well,
what belt do you have?
It's brown. It's like one more and I get to black.
We have to stop Kels from attaining black belt status.
you know, Davo, I think our listeners like a podcast that is nice and easy. But there's just one thing. You see, we've been letting Kels have it nice and easy, and we don't do nothing nice and easy. So from here on out, for the next 50 episodes, we're going to start it off easy, but now we're going to finish it rough. Got a good job in the city.
Okay, Ike, settle down.
Roll it. I'm sorry, I couldn't resist. I love that song.
No, you had to. It's fine. It's totally fine.
I'm going to take the beginning of the song. I'm sorry. That's the last one.
Okay. Now, I will say that I am coming into this very critical bout at less than 100%. I do have a touch of the bronchitis. So,
how do you get
guys
bronchitis if you don't leave the house?
Yeah.
Well, it's complicated. It involves literally rubbing dust on your eyes. You just get in the carpet, rub it in your eyes. So it's a rare kind of bronchitis, carpet bronchitis.
Oh,
so
scary.
So, fellow Greenbelt Andy, we have to team up in some form or fashion and stop the juggernaut that is Brown Belt Kels.
Oh yeah,
I mean,
he's going down.
Teaming up is smart. I mean, it always worked for the guys in Bruce Lee movies.
Well, see, they didn't actually team up. They would form a group of 6 guys around him, and then one would go in and get whooped. They did take turns in a nice clockwise rotation.
Yeah.
So we're not doing that anymore.
Oh, okay, that's good.
So Sensei Neil.
Yes. You didn't sound like you keep doing that. You don't sound like you finish your sentence, and I'm waiting.
Yeah, I was kind of.
No, I just like to hear that. I just like to hear you go. Yes. I just love that. That's great. Sensei Neil, what is the category topic discussion for today so that we can wreck Kels?
Well, like Ike and Tina just a few seconds ago were singing about Proud Mary, and one of the lines from that song is pumping. What is it? Pumping lots of tane down in New Orleans. Yes. I believe that's referring to pumping gas.
Yes,
which is something you would need to do to take advantage of the topic today. This is a really long way to get around to the name of our topic today.
I need a map.
Which is cars.
Oh no!
Cars.
Oh, now are they carbureted or not?
Well, I don't think you want to go too far down that road right now, to be honest.
Okay.
Literally speaking.
Okay.
Let's do this.
So today's topic is cars. I've got 6 categories with 4 questions each. Each question is worth 10 points. I've got a couple of bonus questions here and there. And then there's a final question, which is worth up to 100 points. So let's get started with the first category in cars, which is science.
Huh. Didn't see that coming.
I thought about putting it last just to surprise you, make you think maybe we weren't going to have a science category, but I know you like to get it out of the way first. So,
well, if anything, podcasts should be predictable.
We gotta pull that Band-Aid off.
Yeah.
Just rip the Band-Aid right off.
All right. Question 1 in science. Catalytic converters are devices used to reduce pollutants in combustion engines. What precious metal is most commonly used as the catalyst? There's a bunch that can be used, but there's one that is most commonly used?
Locked in.
I'm locked in.
I'm locked in.
Okay. Kels, let's start with you.
I went with iron.
Okay. That is a precious metal, sort of. Andy?
Platinum.
What?
Davo?
I went with silver.
I scratched out
Okay.
silver.
Most of your catalytic converters have a few grams of platinum in them as the catalyst.
That's a million records.
That's a lot of records in every car.
Everyone.
They also sometimes use palladium, rhodium, cerium, manganese, and nickel, among others.
But of course, it's the platinum catalytic converter was invented by Elvis Presley, so you can see why that would be the metal of choice.
Absolutely.
Okay. All right, question 2. Most gas automobile engines since the 1980s have fuel injection systems. What device did fuel injectors replace?
Locked in.
I'm gonna lock in.
I so love this question.
Well, thanks, Andy. That's the nicest thing you said to me all day.
Locked in.
Okay. Andy, what's your answer?
I would like Davo to go first.
Davo, what's your answer?
The carburetor.
Damn.
Kels, what's your answer?
I went with carburetor because I couldn't think of anything else. I almost wrote boiler room to be funny, but nah.
Andy?
It's the carburetor.
It is the carburetor.
Ask Sensei if you could for me. Ask Davo what a carburetor does.
Hey, Davo, what does a carburetor do?
It carburates, of course.
It does. I'll give you a clue. It does pretty much the same thing as a fuel injector.
It injects fuel.
Okay.
Did you know that diesel engines have always had fuel injectors since they were
No.
Yeah.
I guess I never thought about it, but they'd have to, wouldn't they?
Yeah.
Why would they have to?
Well, for starters, the diesel fuel is heavier, but also just
it's
the way it burns.
The fact that diesel fuel has a greater viscosity, and that it needs a bigger spark to burn and such.
Keep going.
Sure.
It's fun.
Yeah, it doesn't burn. It doesn't burn in the carburetor or the fuel injector.
No, it burns in the piston, right?
Well, that's a bad thing.
Okay. Yeah, let's move on.
Yeah.
Well, it blows up in the piston, right?
Put the shovel down. Put the shovel down. Let's move.
Turn the key, you push the skinny pedal, and you go.
Oh my god.
I mean, I don't know much about vehicles, but I know that a piston isn't something that something can burn inside. That would be the cylinder where the piston goes up and down in, but that's also where the fuel and the spark meet in the cylinder.
Well, I was thinking of the Detroit Pistons who flamed out in the playoffs this year.
They were an 8 seed. Let them.
Kels, give me something.
I mean, you're correct in that. You are absolutely correct.
All right, question 3. What is the name of the process that car tires are put through that increases their elasticity and strength?
Locked in.
I'm locked in.
I'm locked in.
Okay. Davo, what's your answer?
Vulcanization?
Kels?
I went with the Roman god Vulcan, and that led me to vulcanization.
And Andy?
Vulcanized.
The correct answer is vulcanization. I will accept vulcanized.
Thank goodness. Was that? I was trying to remember where it's either Firestone or Goodyear invented it. I think it's Firestone. Am I right?
I don't know the answer to that.
Okay.
That would be Hephaestus, Andy. He invented it. Apollo's chariot needed no white walls, so
New white walls.
Yes, it was Charles Goodyear who invented vulcanization.
Okay.
Basically, the rubber is heated up in the presence of, I think, sulfur, and that makes it last a whole lot longer.
Is that why tire stores stank so bad?
Smell like tires.
Could be, yeah.
Yeah, but you get a bunch of tires in the same room. The tire stores give you a headache, man.
I've always kind of liked that smell.
You can't smell.
Yes, I can. I had a surgery 2 years ago.
You should try it now.
All right, question 4. Unsafe at Any Speed is a 1965 book that accused car makers of ignoring scientific safety tests and criticized their reluctance to implement safety features such as seatbelts. What frequent presidential candidate wrote that book?
I'm locked in.
Locked in.
And for a bonus, tell me the name of the car that had a chapter specifically written about it in that book as an extremely unsafe vehicle.
It's either the.
I'm gonna guess on both.
Yeah, I'm locked in.
I am locked in.
I'm locked in.
Kels, what's your answer?
I went with Adlai Stevenson and the Shelby GT500.
Okay, Davo.
I went with Ralph Nader and the Ford Pinto.
And Andy.
I was stuck between the Pinto and the Corvair, and I'm pretty sure it's a Chevy Corvair, and it's Ralph Nader.
How old is Ralph Nader? Good Lord.
Old.
I thought he was relatively. Well, I don't think I've ever seen a picture, but yeah.
Well, I think he's deceased now, is he not? I don't think Nader's still with us. Yeah.
He is. He's still alive.
He is?
Wow, you tried to kill him off?
No, I'm not. I know other people on the show have done that with American icons. That was honestly a mistake.
Wow,
No.
I appreciate you putting that tag on
American
Fab
Treasures.
Yeah, Fab Five.
I saw him just last week with Fab Five Freddy.
Oh,
See, they're doing well.
They're doing a video together, I think.
Heck yeah.
no thanks to you.
Do we have a moment of silence for Frankie Robinson? No?
The correct answer is Ralph Nader, and he wrote about the Chevrolet Corvair as an example of an extremely, extremely unsafe vehicle.
I have a funny Corvair story. When I was in high school, I delivered pizzas for Domino's, and I always remember this day that we had this one guy everybody kind of disliked, and he had a really gorgeous red 66 Corvair that he delivered pizzas in. This is in the 80s. It was a cool car then. And I was at the front counter answering phones, and there was this bank of windows right in front of me where it looked out onto the busiest street in town. And our boss was mad because this guy had gone out to deliver pizza like an hour ago and hadn't returned. And everybody presumed like the dude just quit. And I'm sitting there just kind of staring out the window, and I see this flatbed tow truck go by with the remains of his Corvair loaded up in it, and this kid that nobody liked just really looking angry in the passenger seat.
Wow.
Oh, that's why he didn't come back. Neither did his car.
Did he run into something, or did he run into somebody?
I honestly, I couldn't even remember. I don't even remember his name. I just remember having this moment, turning around to my boss and going, I just saw his totaled Corvair go down Galena Avenue. I don't think the dude's coming back in. So I don't even remember finding out what happened to his car or what the accident was, but I remember it was a total loss.
Well, didn't the driver get mad at his dad for not treating him properly and rubbing the Corvair down with a diaper? And he kicked it and kicked it and kicked it until it fell off the jack.
That was not a Corvair.
Yeah, it was a Rari, I want to say.
I don't know anything about that.
You had the town right, though. You had the town totally right.
Oh, so many car stories.
Shermer.
Okay.
All right, at the end of round one, I've got Kels with 20, Davo with 30, and Andy with a perfect 42.
Oh,
nice,
God.
Andy.
In science, I was trying not to say anything because I saw the perfect game happening for science.
Did you have your hat on inside out and backwards?
I did not, but I genuinely panicked because I've known all these almost before he finished asking the question, except when he asked what car it was in the Ralph Nader's book, and I had it between those two cars, and I was genuinely panicking. Like, no, it's a perfect game.
Just for the record, the Pinto was didn't come out for several years after the book came out.
Okay.
That was in the 70s, right?
Yeah.
All right. Which one was it? Was it the Corvair or the Pinto that had the fuel tank in a really bad location?
That was the Pinto.
That was the
They
Pinto.
had it right next to the bumper, the rear
Right.
bumper.
And that's why I was torn between the Pinto. The Corvair was a death trap for something else, but the Pinto was like explodable.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Dave, are you sure they didn't have the gas tank right next to the carb ejector? Let's move on to category 2. Category 2 is television.
Oh.
Question 1. In what 1960s sitcom does Jerry Van Dyke purchase an old vehicle which turns out to be his reincarnated mother?
Locked in.
I don't know the name of this show. I know it's got a really stupid title.
I'm locked in.
Yeah, I'm locked in.
Okay. Andy, are you? Why don't you tell us what your answer is?
My Mother the Car.
Oh, thank God. I
Dave?
know it's something simple.
My Mother the Car.
And Kels, I guess you answered also My Mother the Car.
My Mother, the car.
Coming up next, a very special episode. My Mother the Car.
TV Guide once rated it as the second worst TV show of all time after Jerry Springer.
Wow.
Whoa.
That's saying something.
Both born in Detroit. What do you know?
Question 2. This TV show features a vehicle inspired by Dutch proto-modernist painter Piet Mondrian. Or Mondrian.
I am locked in.
I had a perfect game going.
Bloop single coming up.
Oh. All right. A show with a really weird car.
It's going to be a drag bunt, Kels.
Oh, even worse.
Yeah.
All right. I'm locked in with a totally weird guess.
I'm going to roll with this. I'm locked in.
Okay, Davo?
Well, I'm probably incorrect, but I really like my answer because when you said proto-modernist, I started to think of weird cars, conveyances, and then I immediately thought of the Dragula from the Munsters.
Oh.
Okay.
So I went with the Munsters.
Kels?
I was thinking more along the lines of maybe the designs on the vehicle, and that led me to a vehicle I always thought looked weird, and I think it was the van that the Partridge Family drove.
Yeah, that's cool.
Andy?
I went with the Batmobile.
Yeah.
Ooh,
I love that car.
that's a great car.
Yeah.
Kels, you were on the right track. It definitely was referring to the paint job of the vehicle, and it was actually the Partridge Family bus.
Nice,
Oh,
Kels.
well done, Kels.
Nice, Kels.
Oh, wait. No, we're trying to destroy Kels.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
Boo!
Let's not forget the objective.
Ooh. Slow clap.
I will insult your obvious trivia excellence with derision and booze. Boo.
Ooh.
I don't think Kels drinks that much.
You don't know Kels.
I mean, he never drinks around me. Maybe that's
all
maybe
that
that's,
matters.
maybe that's more about me than it is about him. All right, question 3. The brothers in this long-running series drive around the country in a black 1967 Impala.
Locked in.
Locked in.
Oh, okay. Ooh.
If you had missed this one, seriously, if you had missed this one, there'd be some splaining to do.
Yeah, man. You know, how could I forget about my baby?
All
Eh.
right, Kels.
So I'm locked in.
I don't think I need to ask, but what's your answer, Kels?
I went with Supernatural.
Andy?
Supernatural.
And Davo.
Supernatural.
That was an easy one. I knew you guys would get that one. That question is courtesy of friend of the show, Jeff.
El Jefe!
He actually helped me with a few of these. He's kind of a gearhead, so He knows a little bit about cars. All right. Question 4. Hop-ons were a constant problem with the stair car, a family vehicle that was given to George Michael when he went off to college on this show.
Locked in.
Oh, oh,
Oh.
oh, 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 oh,
This is that bloop single we were talking about.
no. It's at the tip of my tongue.
Okay. This guy at the plate is batting easily like 500 against you.
Stop it.
I'm locked in.
Oh, got it.
Andy, let's see if you got it. What's your answer?
Arrested Development.
Davo?
Arrested Development.
And Kels.
Arrested Development.
Would that have been as easy if I hadn't included George Michael?
Yeah. I watched
No.
Arrested
No.
Development.
I didn't know where he was going at first. So no, if you just would have said this character drove a stair car, I would have been a little bit lost.
Okay.
As soon as you said stair car, I was like, yep, I know where this is.
Well, for the record, the correct answer is Arrested Development. All right, at the end of round 2, we've got a two-way tie for either second or third place, depending on how you look at it, with Davo and Kels with 60, and Andy is still holding on at 72. Not
Good
quite
scoring.
a perfect game, though.
Yeah.
This is my best game ever so far.
So talk about it a lot.
I should. I was going to say, keep talking about it. Well, that's all. I don't even want to hear scores anymore. Just be quiet. Everybody, be quiet.
All right, category 3 is history.
Oh, no.
Question 1. Nicholas Joseph Cugnot invented the first self-propelled vehicle in 1770. What type of engine did it use?
Locked in.
I'm locked in.
Locked in.
Davo?
I went with steam. It might be a little early.
Kels?
Yeah, I did the same thing, and I didn't feel comfortable either. I went with steam.
Andy?
I'm a little thrown off by your reference to engine, but I think the first self-propelled vehicle would be a sail car. It would use a sail like a ship did.
Ooh.
Oh.
Yeah, I don't think a sail car would be self-propelled because it would still use an external force.
Oh, good point. Okay.
The correct answer is it had a steam engine on it.
Oh, wow. Woo.
And the game's afoot.
Yeah. How's that perfect game now?
Well, I didn't have a perfect game after the second question in TV.
So now you don't care.
Yeah, he gave up a couple hits. It's okay.
Just got to stay in front of Kels. Staying in front of Kels.
Question 2. The first practical combustion engine automobile was created in 1885 by what German engineer?
Locked in.
I'm locked in. Sure.
I'm locked in.
Kels?
He did me good last time, so I'm gonna go with Porsche again.
Okay. Andy?
Close. Carl Benz.
No. No.
Davo?
No.
Well, I knew I wasn't going with Daimler because he's been doing that. So I was hoping it'd be good old Mr. Porsche.
No, I'm thinking that was a little before Porsche's time.
They call me Mr. Porsche.
The correct answer is Carl Benz.
Curse you, German engineers.
All right, question 3 in history. This early car manufacturer saw consumerism as the way to peace. He developed a franchise system for dealerships, and he was a massive anti-Semite.
Oh,
Locked in.
Locked in.
locked in.
Let's see. Let's start with Davo.
Ford.
Andy?
Ford.
And Kels?
Ford.
It was Henry Ford. It's interesting. He was very anti-Semitic, but he didn't have a problem hiring Jews and black people and all kinds of whoever could do the job. He was okay with that, but he blamed Jews for all the problems in the world. And he wrote a book. I forget what it was called, but it was like basically the International Jew or something like that, which was
Wow.
a real favorite of Adolf Hitler.
Did either of y'all ever have to like square dance in school?
I did.
Yeah.
No.
We had that in like PE, like in third grade.
We did too. Yeah.
I found out that was because of Henry Ford.
Really?
Oh.
Like he made that push to like make square dancing like a thing in school.
I had
What?
no
can't
idea.
remember,
That's interesting.
I can't remember the reason why, but
That is the most random fact about an American icon I have ever heard.
I'm pretty sure it was Henry Ford. Like it was on Samantha Bee's show. Like stuff
Huh.
that you didn't know was like racist, and it was school taught square dancing.
A tidbit I've always enjoyed: Henry Ford's two best buddies, Harvey Firestone and Thomas Edison. They would go camping together. How would you like to sit around a campfire with Edison and Henry Ford and Firestone? I mean, that had to have been interesting.
That's really interesting that you bring that up, Kels. So I just did a quick Google. Here's a quote from Volume 3 of The International Jew, written in 1921 by Henry Ford.
Oh boy.
I'll shorten a little bit. Popular music is a Jewish monopoly. Jazz is a Jewish creation. The mush, slush, the sly suggestion, the abandoned sensuousness of sliding notes are of Jewish origin. So he apparently wanted to have state mandated square dancing to counteract the influence of jazz. So
The sensuousness of sliding notes.
can you imagine?
Is that why you've always hated jazz, Davo?
I mean, I don't like it to be too sensuous.
Right.
Let's rein it in a little bit.
The saxophone is,
Tina Turner, any Tina Turner track in the 80s had that hunky saxophone player
I know.
ruining it.
All right, question 4 in history. The popularity of the Ford Mustang is largely responsible for the popularity of this classification of compact, affordable, but still sporty vehicles. Basically, what kind of classification was the Ford Mustang in when it was introduced?
Oh, okay. I'm gonna go with this. I'm locked in with, yeah.
But it's not something we use today. Are you talking about present tense, or I'm a little? I've written it down already, but I'm. All right, we'll see.
I don't think it's not necessarily a formal classification like passenger vehicle or something like that. It's more of a.
Oh, okay. I think I'm right then. Okay.
I am locked in.
All right, Davo.
I went with coupe or coupe.
Okay. Andy.
Pony car.
Kels.
I also went with the chicken coop.
The correct answer is to differentiate them from the muscle cars. These were called pony cars.
Pony car.
I've never heard that before in my life.
I've heard it. I wasn't quite sure what it was.
Luckily for me, my dad still drives our first family car, 1968 Mustang. So I grew up with a pony in my life, though I was never allowed to drive it once.
I couldn't find it. I couldn't get confirmation that pony cars were named after the Mustang as a slang term for the Mustang, but it seems possible that it was.
That's why I was a little confused by the question. I've always associated it as a kind of a Ford name that other people kind of co-opted, like we say Xerox when we want to copy something. But I thought it was kind of a short-lived nickname. Like nobody refers to pony cars today, do they?
Yeah,
I think if you're referring to that kind of vehicle from that era, yeah.
Sure, but I mean, like, I'm not going to walk onto a dealership and say, show me a good pony.
It's essentially from I'm doing a quick Google search. It's essentially from like the early 60s to the middle 70s, basically.
Okay, that makes sense. That's okay.
But it included the Mustang, and I think the Barracuda came out a few months before the Mustang did.
Cuda.
How many of you were singing Heart's Barracuda in your mind as soon as he said Barracuda?
I thought I sang
just
it
me?
out loud. I'm sorry.
Yeah, okay, maybe. I was just Barracuda.
At the end of round 3, I've got Davo and Kels still tied at 80, and Andy has 102.
Oh, Andy.
I don't know what's going on with this game. It's freaking me out.
Cars. You obviously know a lot about cars.
I am, you know what? It's funny is I'm not a super gearhead. Like I can do, well, I don't do any work on cars now. Back when cars had carburetors, I could nose around them, but I've never considered myself a gearhead.
Yeah, I know my bits and pieces,
Yeah.
enough to get by.
So, Andy, I'll point out that last game, the Second Chances game, you had an even greater lead at the end of round 3, and you still managed to not win. So,
Thanks.
don't worry too much.
Thanks, Sensei.
It's only to keep you grounded, Andy.
Okay. Category 4 is movies.
Yes.
Rats.
Yes.
I'm hoping.
Question 1. Despite the testimony of this Oscar winner, there were actually 3 American cars in the 60s that had positive traction and independent rear suspension and enough power to make certain tire marks.
Locked in.
I'm locked in.
I mean, I can justify this answer. I just don't really remember this line, but I'm probably wrong anyway. But I'm gonna lock in.
Okay, what's your answer, Kels?
I want Angelina Jolie, who did win an Academy Award for Girl Interrupted.
Mm-hmm.
And this sounds like something she might have said in Gone in 60 Seconds.
I have a feeling Kels is going to kick himself.
Yep.
Real hard in both butt
Real
cheeks.
hard.
Andy, what's your answer?
In the courtroom scene of My Cousin Vinny, Marissa Tomei said it.
Who is this again?
Marissa Tomei, my first wife.
It's Tomei.
It's Tomei. It's not Marissa Tomei, the sister of Belle Tomei.
She is not the Little Miss Velvet Fog.
Yeah.
I don't know why I put an R in it. I thought I had an R in it for some reason. Okay.
Kels, or Davo, I assume you said Marissa Tomei.
Marissa Tomei. Yes.
Now I have to decide. Can I give Kels credit? That's not her last name.
Well, you can't
I'm
give
sorry,
Kels
Davo.
credit for it.
Can I give Andy credit?
He clearly knew the movie and the actress.
Yeah. So, Andy, I'll give you points despite the fact that you got the actress's name wrong.
Well, I added an R, but I had the character in the movie and everything.
As Kels pointed out, you obviously knew the actress and knew the movie. So,
Yeah.
So just for the record, she said that the 2 cars were the Corvette, which couldn't be confused with a Skylark, and a Pontiac Tempest, which could be easily confused with a Skylark. And the Skylark could not have made those tracks. But she left out the Chevy Corvair, which we discussed back in the science category. That was the vehicle that was unsafe at any speed. And it did have the positive traction and all that other junk. It just tended to fall apart and crash into things and stuff like that. Anyway, question 2 in movies. This car company probably would have ended up mostly forgotten after its owner was arrested and later acquitted for cocaine trafficking if it hadn't been immortalized in a popular movie series.
Locked in.
Locked in.
Yeah, I'm locked in.
Okay. Andy, what's your answer?
DeLorean.
Yes.
Davo?
DeLorean.
And Kels?
I was worried that if I just put DeLorean, you'd be like, nah, that's just the make of the car. But I didn't know anything else, so I put DeLorean.
Technically, the name of the company was DMC or DeLorean Motor Company, but I just wrote down DeLorean. That's pretty much what it's known as.
Because the DeLorean itself was a stupid, stupid car.
Yeah, so it looked really nice. It's pretty and fancy and all that, and it had like a 120 horsepower motor, which was, I mean, nobody that bought a car that looked like that wanted a 120 horsepower motor. They wanted 300 horsepower motor or something like that. So it was just really slow. It probably couldn't have done what what it did in the movie without the flux capacitor.
I was about to say, how did Marty outrun the Libyans? They were just in a VW van.
Keep forgetting about the Libyans.
The Libyans. Yeah.
All right. Category 3, question 3 in movies. The 1968 movie Chitty Chitty Bang Bang is based on a book by a popular British adult fiction author who sold about 100 million books. And the screenplay was written by another even more popular British children's author who sold about 250 million books. Name either author and name both for bonus points. So I need you. The first name you say is going to be for the full points. The second name you say is going to be for the bonus. So, and I don't care if you're telling me the book author or the movie author first or the screenplay writer first. Just the first one is worth 10. The second one's worth 10 or 2.
I only know one
British author.
I only know one. I only know one author connected this. I don't know this. I guess I don't know the other part of this.
I'm locked in.
I've seen the cover art. I'm locked in. I just got one though.
Okay, let's start with Davo.
I went with Beatrix Potter, who wrote the book, because that was the first thing that popped into my head. And for the screenplay, I went with William Gibson.
Okay.
I might be thinking, no, I meant Goldman. I just wrote down the wrong name.
William Golding.
The guy who wrote Princess Bride.
Okay, yeah, I think that's Golding, isn't it?
The Golding?
No, William Goldman.
I thought it was Goldman. Can we just say I'm utterly wrong? Is that cool?
You are absolutely utterly wrong.
Yeah, I'm fine with you being completely wrong.
Okay,
Kels, what did you come up with?
Okay, well, I could only think of one author that's British, so I went with Ian Fleming. So I am more than willing to cast myself into the completely wrong pile with Davo. You got a friend in me.
Yay!
And no guess on the screenplay or the other one.
Ian Fleming Jr. I don't know.
Okay, Andy.
I am so frustrated because I thought this was such a cool little trivia nugget that Kels would not know because he's a 007 fan. The original idea came from Ian Fleming. I couldn't tell you who. Yeah, it really genuinely did. Chitty Chitty Bang Bang originates with Ian Fleming. I could not tell you at all who converted it into the children's movie that I grew up with, but I remember hearing Ian Fleming is the fountainhead to this idea.
Wow. Yeah, it was one of his later books. Ian Fleming wrote, I think it was a series of 3 books, maybe, or a book in 3 parts, something like that. He wrote Chitty Chitty Bang Bang and published it in 1965 or so. And the children's author who wrote the screenplay is a guy named Roald Dahl.
Oh, wow.
Oh, really?
Wow.
Yep. I didn't know Roald Dahl wrote that.
He wrote the screenplay.
Honestly, I have never seen Chitty Chitty Bang Bang.
Neither have I.
It's funny. I was Wendy and I were talking about this the other night of movies that we grew up with. And that's a movie, I think I remember a few bars of the song. I know Dick Van Dyke was in it. And I know it was this crazy old school car that could fly. But beyond that, I could not tell you the plot. But I know I loved it at age like 6 or 7. That's really young age.
Well, it was a flying car. It's probably not a heavy-duty plot.
All right. Question 4 in movies. In the Transformer movies, what kind of car is Bumblebee?
Locked in.
Locked in?
Locked in.
Kels.
I believe Bumblebee in the movies is a Chevrolet Camaro.
Andy?
Camaro.
Davo.
Camaro?
Is that a question or an answer?
Depends on if it's right or not.
Bumblebee was a Chevy Camaro.
Then it is a fact, a statement. Camaro.
I think in the earlier movies, it was like a 70s Camaro, but it's a more modern one now.
I thought it was a Beetle.
I was going to say, wasn't it a Beetle at one point?
In the cartoons and the toy, he was a Beetle.
That's right, and that's why I was stumbling there for a minute about didn't it change models, because I was thinking VW originally, and I thought no, it's not. It's the Camaro now.
That's why I specified in the movies.
Yeah. Okay. Well done, Trixie.
All right. At the end of round 4, Davo and Kels are still tied at 110, and Andy apparently has 142.
Ooh.
Shh, nobody talk. Nobody says anything. Let's move on. We're moving on.
Check my math here.
Don't bother.
Check them gazettas.
Numbers will fool you.
I'm gonna sit right next to you in the dugout. That's what I'm gonna do.
Don't talk to me. Nobody talks to me.
Category 5 is sports. Question 1. Obviously, the Detroit Pistons are named after a car part. What other NBA team has a car-related name?
Locked in.
Oh, locked in.
Oh, man. Oh, locked in.
Andy, what's your answer?
Pacers.
Deva?
The Indiana Pacers.
And Kels.
The Indiana Pacers.
I think they famously have a long-running rivalry with the Detroit Pistons. Correct answer is the Indiana Pacers.
I'm gonna admit fully here that I never knew the Pacers were named after the car. I was going through every NBA basketball team in my head and trying to connect it to the automotive industry. Is it really named after the car, and why?
No, it's named after
a pace car at the Indianapolis 500.
Oh,
yeah.
I got lucky by mistake. All right.
You still made
I'll take it. I'll take it.
Question 2. NASCAR is kind of a popular company / sport. What does NASCAR stand for?
Locked in.
I'm locked in.
I'm locked in too. Don't like it.
All right. Let's start with Davo.
I put down, well, I tried to make it fit, and I'm not happy with how I did it. I went with the North American Stock Car Association of Racing.
Okay. Kels.
I went with the National Association of Stock Car Auto Racing.
And Andy.
Ooh.
National Association for Stock Car Auto Racing.
Oh, I got the preposition wrong.
You know what, Kels? You got all the relevant ones. I'm not gonna count off for having the wrong preposition in there.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, that's fine.
The correct answer is the National Association for Stock Car Auto Racing.
That makes more sense. Okay.
I have a trivia nugget for this. If anybody, because we're past the history, so I don't think this is going to be another question. Does anybody know the origins of stock car racing?
That's bootlegging.
Yeah, very good. Yeah, bootlegging in the during Prohibition, the guys would soup up their stock cars so they could outrun the cops, and it started becoming a competitive thing of who had the fastest car amongst them, and they started racing.
One of the controversies about NASCAR right now is that there's basically nothing stock about any of those cars.
Right.
Yeah.
Another form of racing that doesn't have stock parts is Formula One. In Formula One racing, what does the formula refer to?
Oh, locked in.
Oh, come on.
I'm locked in.
I'm locked in.
All right, Kels. What does the formula refer to?
The formula for success.
Okay, Andy.
I'm locked in, but I'm still a little. I'm hoping I got this right. It's the rules for single seat, open wheeled race cars set up by the FIA or FIA.
Okay, Davo.
Well, it refers to the formula that created the Powerpuff Girls. You have sugar, you have spice, everything nice, and a splash of Newtonium.
No, it was Chemical X.
Chemical X.
No, you're thinking of Racer X from Speed Racer, who it turns out was Speed Racer's brother the whole time.
Well, I wish they would have given us hints about that, because I was completely lost.
Okay, the correct answer to question 3. The formula refers to the vehicle standards that are used for the cars, because originally that kind of racing, people were just doing whatever they could do to make their cars faster, and they decided that to make it fair, they needed to have a formula for the vehicles.
So, what was Andy's answer?
Essentially, that.
Yeah, I said it
Okay.
was the rules to regulate
Okay.
and it was specifically the open-wheeled single-seater race car. That's what they use in Formula One racing.
Okay.
All right. Question 4 in sports. In drag racing, a column of lights is used to let the drivers know when the race starts. What is the colloquial name for that column of lights?
Locked in.
I'm locked in.
I'm locked in with an answer.
All right. Davo, what's your answer?
I believe it's called a Christmas tree.
Mm.
Kels?
Mission control.
And
I like yours
Andy.
better.
It is a Christmas tree.
Woo!
The correct answer is Christmas tree. Can you picture them, Kels? Do you know what I'm talking about?
Oh, I know what you're talking about. I just didn't know that they had a name.
At the end of round 5, Kels and Davo are still tied at 130.
It's ridiculous.
And
Uncanny.
Andy has extended his lead with 182.
This is the weirdest game
What do we
ever.
have?
130?
Jeez. Well, this last category better be Washita County, or I don't stand a chance.
Come on.
I got to say, 130 is actually that's a pretty decent score.
It's respectable.
182 means I think Andy's missed 2 questions and 1 bonus so far.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Andy's having a game for the ages.
This is a career game for me. Don't talk about it anymore.
We were kind of joking offline that I was going to put together a set of questions that would favor Andy and Kels, and I didn't actually intend to do that, but it turns out.
I don't know how you done it, but I know you done it.
All right. Category 6 is international cars. Question 1. The Ipanema was the first vehicle made by the Gurgel Company in this country.
I'm locked in.
I'm locked in.
All right, I'm locked in.
Devo.
Well, I wasn't sure, so I was like, Impanema, and I thought that was in Spain, so I said Spain.
Okay. That would have been a really good answer if Ipanema had been in Spain. Kels?
Okay. I'm hoping it's in Brazil.
Andy?
I went with Mexico.
Ipanema is a beach in Rio de Janeiro, and the correct answer is Brazil.
Oh, nice. Nice.
This is how the collapse happens.
Question 2 in international cars. The Tata Nano, Tata is the make and Nano is the model, was the world's cheapest car, selling new for about $3,500. They ceased production in 2018 due to production issues, poor safety tests, and apparently enhanced flammability. In what country was the Nano built?
I'm locked in.
I'm locked in.
All right, it's got to be right sometime. I'm locked in.
Andy, what's your answer?
Going with Mexico again.
Okay. Kels?
I said Japan.
And Devo.
So I think I saw this car on an episode of that British auto show. I just spaced the name of it, but
The one we used to watch in the basement.
Yeah.
Top Gear?
Top Gear.
Top Gear.
I think I saw this on Top Gear, and I think the Tata was a car company in India.
Ooh.
I remember seeing this car when it was first released, and it was touted as the world's cheapest car, and it certainly looked like a very inexpensive car. And Tata is an Indian motor company.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
Question 3. The Volkswagen 181 was developed for the West German Army in the late 60s. Consumer models were marketed as the Courierwagen in West Germany, the Trekker in the UK, and the Safari in Mexico. What was it sold as in the US?
Locked in.
I'm locked in.
I have no idea. I'm locked in.
Okay, Kels.
I said the Monster.
So close.
Wow.
Wow. Kels, what amazes me is how good you are at guessing how close. It's the Thing.
What?
The VW Thing.
Come on, man. No, it's not.
I
The
swear to
Thing?
you. The VW Thing.
Davo, what's your answer?
The Thing.
The correct answer is the Volkswagen Thing. I think it was sold for 2 years in the U.S. I think 71 and 72 or something like that.
Oh, I thought it was sold longer. I thought it went into the 80s, didn't it?
No,
Oh,
well,
okay.
not according to my research, my very very brief research.
I'm just guessing, but I thought it went into the 1980s.
Question 4, the last question of the regular rounds. This Italian company has had models that include the Countach, Diablo, and the Gallardo. Bonus: which one of those three was the company's best-selling model?
I'm locked in.
I'm gonna go with I'm locked in.
Okay, I'm locked in.
It sounds like everybody's locked in. Let's start with Davo.
I believe it's Lamborghini.
Okay.
And I chose the Diablo as the best selling car because I like that video game a lot.
Andy.
I was sure it was their best-selling car was the Adobe, as I saw on Saturday Night Live. But it's actually the Diablo. I love the Adobe ad.
Are you going to tell me the company?
Oh, Lamborghini.
Okay. And Kels?
It was the Lamborghini. I went with Diablo, but I feared that it might be the Countach.
So the correct answer to the company definitely was Lamborghini. I thought that would probably be a little bit easy for you guys. And it's interesting. Most of their models they sold in the hundreds because I think they're probably all handmade and kind of specialized. The Countach and Diablo are definitely much more well known. Those are the ones that are in the posters and all that. But the Gallardo they made 14,000 of, and
Oh,
they
there
sold
you go.
8,000 of them.
Do you happen to know how much the Gallardo cost?
No, but I'm guessing it was a lower end one.
Yeah.
And by lower end, like,
80
125
grand instead of.
probably
So
100.
just on Auto Trader, the original MSRP for a two-door coupe Gallardo was 181.9.
Yeah.
Woo!
All right. So here's our final scores. We got Kels with 150, Davo 160, and Andy 202. So you guys have a little bit of work to do to catch up to Andy.
That's one way of putting it.
So our final question is, I have a list of the top selling makes and models of vehicles in the US in 2018. I just need you to name any 10 of them for 10 points each.
Makes and models.
Yep.
Fiddlesticks.
Well, I mean, if you know the model, you pretty much are going to know the make.
And a carburetor carburates.
I'm going to lock in.
I'm locked in as well.
I'm locked in.
Okay, sounds like everybody's locked in. So let's start with Kels.
All right. Cats and kits. Here's what I got. I got the Honda Civic, the Honda Accord, the Jeep Grand Cherokee, the Ford F-Series, the Dodge Charger, Toyota Corolla, Toyota Camry, Dodge Ram, Nissan Altima, and the Chevy Silverado.
All right. Davo.
Kels and I have a very similar list. I said the Ford F-150 specifically. I said the Toyota Corolla, the Honda Civic. So the Nissan Rogue.
Oh.
The Honda Accord. The Nissan Sentra. The Kia Soul. Those seem like they're everywhere.
Kia Soul, that is.
Yeah. The Toyota Camry, the Dodge Ram, and I also just threw on there at the end the Toyota Prius.
Nice.
Okay. Andy.
I'm pretty confident I know the first two in order because I was trying to decide between these two in 2018 and reading up on it. It's the Ford F-Series is in the first spot, and the Chevy Silverado is in the second spot. From after that, it's total guessing. Toyota Camry, Honda Civic, Toyota Corolla, the Chevrolet Camaro, the Toyota RAV4, Dodge Ram, Jeep Cherokee, and the VW Jetta.
Oh.
All right. So let's start with Kels. You got the Civic, Accord. Grand Cherokee was the number 20 on the list.
Ooh.
F-Series is number 1. Charger is not on the list. But the Corolla's number 10. Camry's number 7. The Ram is number 3. Altima is 15, and Silverado's number 2.
Oh.
Ooh.
So by my count,
it's a 9-piece nugget.
That is 9-piece. 9-piece. Thanks, Kels. 90 points for Kels, bringing you to 240, and you are currently in the lead.
Oh, I don't like that at all. Andy got a lot.
Davo, I'll give you credit for the F-Series. Number 1 is
Thank
the
you.
F-Series for the F-150. You got the Corolla number 10, Civic number 8, Rogue is number 4.
Woot.
Accord is 12, the Sentra is 17,
Woot.
Soul's not on the list.
Okay.
Camry is 7, Ram is number 3, and the Prius is also not on the list.
I got an 8-piece nugget.
8 for Davo, which puts you in a 2-way tie for the lead with Kels.
How that happens. We get to lose together.
You are
I know.
38 points. You're 38 points below, ahead of Andy. So if he gets at least 4 of these, he wins. And let's see. Andy, you definitely got the F-Series and Silverado is 1 and 2. Camry 7, Civic is 8, Corolla 10, Camaro's not on the list. The RAV4 is number 5.
Oh, nice.
Ram is 3. Cherokee is number 19. And the Jetta is not on the list. So I count 8 for you, giving you a total of 282 points and the win.
I am the greatest. Sorry.
Oh.
Wow. You went right to it, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. I did. I promised myself I'd do that if I won today after doing the Muhammad Ali smack talk before the show.
Wow. Right to it. Well, that makes you, my friend Andy, a blue belt.
Woohoo! So does that mean I just have
Congratulations.
to win one more to beat Kels?
No.
Yeah,
We've
right.
got a long
2
mountain
more?
to climb.
How
3
far?
more.
3 more to tie or 3 more to win?
3 more to 3 more to win. He's 2 behind.
So you're saying I got a chance?
You got a chance. You got a chance. You have a chance that's approximately 1 better than mine.
I'm definitely going to have to do an all Motown, all Jay-Z, all Oscars question.
I will go head to head with Kels on Motown any day of the week.
Yeah.
I will walk away from Motown real quick.
Bring it.
It's all those sensuous notes. I can't handle that.
Davo, you need to get in touch with that side of you. Maybe a little Marvin Gaye tonight, Barry White, Sam Cooke, throw it on.
The farthest I'll go is Dave Brubeck. How about that?
No. You gotta find your groove thing.
That's not groovy enough?
No, you gotta find your groove.
Okay. Well, while I find my groove, thank you very much for listening to the show, everybody. So from everybody here, at the Brain Ladle Trivia Podcast. This is Green Belt Davo with newly appointed Blue Belt Andy.
So long, Ladle Brainers.
Brown Belt Kels.
Pain heals, chicks dick scars, glory lasts forever.
And Sensei Neil.
French playwright Francois Sagan said, "Money may not buy happiness, but I'd rather cry in a Jaguar than on a bus."
Got a good point.
Signing off.
Hello, all you good trivia people out there. If you like what you hear, I have exciting news for you. You can listen to this show on your favorite podcast apps, wherever that might be. Whatever floats your boat. If you got any ideas, you can tweet us at Ladle Brain. If you're into the Facebook kind of thing, we're at Brain Ladle Productions. Also, YouTube at Brain Ladle Productions. Kind of redundant, but you get the idea. We also have a website, brainladletrivia.com. If you want to get us individually, there's Neil, there's Kels, there's Davo, and there's even an Andy fellow. If you're feeling generous, also have a Patreon. If you can send us some ducats, it will really help out the show. And that leads into us helping you. So help us, help you, and you be classy out there. Hope I'm out.